Hello, everyone. Welcome to our call tonight. Our call tonight is Petitgrain. This is an exciting oil. So it's quite a new oil. It's only been out for about a couple of years for doTERRA, but it's an oil that's been used for a long time. So first of all, I like to ask people what they know about the Petitgrain oil and what their experiences are with Petitgrain. So anybody here have experience with Petitgrain or have used it in some ways?
Not used it.
No? No, not you either, Peaches. Okay. All right, so perhaps later when Debbie gets back, I'll ask her what she's done with Petitgrain. So Petitgrain, oh yeah, there you are. You have an experience?
Well, honestly, I have yet to love this aroma of Petitgrain, but I have a few people that claim to have an allergy to lavender. You and I can talk about that later, but I have recommended Petitgrain to them and used it in place of it's kind of called the men's lavender. Joshua Yorgeson absolutely loves Petitgrain. So for those who really don't like lavender, Petitgrain's my next go-to for them.
Yep, excellent. Thank you, Debbie. I'm glad she brought that up because I mentioned that too. So let's do a quick overview. Petitgrain is great for cleansing the skin. It helps open airways, helps with cramping, calms the nerves. It helps calm anger. It's a deodorant because it's a lovely smell. It helps with scalp skin care, basically skin nearly everywhere. It helps balance blood pressure, and it's emotionally the oil of ancestry. All right, and you can see here in the picture that I took from convention, the bitter orange oil, bitter orange tree has a lot of oils that it offers us. So of course from the peel we get orange oil. And from the blossom, we have the neroli oil, and from the leaves, we get Petitgrain. Okay, so that's where Petitgrain comes from, just the leaves of the bitter orange tree. Okay, and historically, Petitgrain has been used for a lot of medicinal purposes, especially cleansing purposes and supporting the immune system and supporting the nervous functions. And our Petitgrain is from Paraguay, okay? And of course, you will know that if doTERRA has got their little fingers into people's lives, it's going to be great. So they're working with the local farmers and the community for a sustainable and viable source of income, but also they protect the soil and the environment and in this co-impact relationship. So it's exciting for the people in Paraguay. So whenever you're using Petitgrain, think of the people in Paraguay, okay? So Petitgrain is amazing and blends well with birch, blue tansy, cassia, clove, citrus oils, any sort of citrus oils, especially oils like lime and bergamot, Douglas fir, eucalyptus, geranium, jasmine, lavender, lemongrass, white fir, and Siberian fir. So those are the great oils that it blends with, okay? It's a very gentle oil. You can put it straight on your skin, but I know that some people might feel it might be a bit strong. So just dilute it to start with and just watch it and see how your body responds, okay? So if your body is okay with it, then you can use it straight if you need to, but diluting is always a good way to use essential oils because it helps keep the oils on you longer and, stops it from flashing into the atmosphere too soon. Alrighty. So Petitgrain, like Debbie Gordon said, is similar to lavender, okay, but it's more masculine, so it's more of a manly version of lavender because, Petitgrain is about 65% ester. And lavender is like 50% ester, so it's mostly ester. And ester is the chemical that helps us relax and help us feel calm and balance. So that's, what it really does for us. It helps regulate your nervous system. And it's, of course, because ester and lavender, you know, is the same. It's great for skin. So any type of skin cleaning and tissue repair. Okay, so that's one thing you can remember about petitgrain. So petitgrain is sort of like the brother, the twin brother of lavender. Yeah. Alrighty. Any questions or comments so far? Petitgrain's come up several times this week for my daughter, and she's one of my twins. She doesn't want to go to school. And it's so funny that petitgrain has come up for her. And, you know, I know where it's come from. You know, I think when I was little, there was times that I didn't want to leave my family either. So I think she's getting it from me. I usually like to blame it on my husband, though. But it's me. So let's get into the body and what petitgrain does. There is a lot of research, guys, on petitgrain, and you know, it's awesome. It's so exciting how much research we have out there for these essential oils. They're not just these, you know, wacky things from on the fringes. It's actually mainstream. When you read this research, they're hardcore science. So anyways, it's great for cleansing the skin. So if you have any areas of your skin that need some attention that you would normally put lavender on, try petitgrain. Okay, so that's another oil that you could use. Okay, if you don't have lavender, use petitgrain. So that's interesting. You know, I'd say, you know, if you have and grazes and burns and stuff, it's a great oil to keep that area clean. Okay. The other thing we do is to help open airways. If you have never tried petitgrain before, try it and then mix it with lime and eucalyptus. So equal portions of lime, eucalyptus, and petitgrain in your palms, and just inhale it. That is an amazing smell, especially during this winter. You know, I know a lot of people like to use the same, you know, reliable oils. Your On Guard, your Breathe, those are fantastic. But sometimes you need to shake it up a little bit, only because you're coming at that issue from a different angle. And you know, if you want to change, you do need to do some things different. So, you know, it might be that you need petitgrain. We lucky we have our Itovi scan, and it helps us know which oils to use. You know, so if one person has some respiratory problems and petitgrain comes up, I know, hey, you know, we're going to help with that respiratory problems with petitgrain. But you know, you can always just smell it, and your body will tell you if you need it. Okay. So rub it on your chest, your neck, your back, and the bottom of your feet. All right, that is amazing. That those two blends, this blend of petitgrain, lime, and eucalyptus, it's very, very yummy. To me, petitgrain smells like lemonade. I don't know about you guys, just lemonade. No, lemonade. So, okay. Peaches, do you have petitgrain at home?
No, I just had the luxury of going to a couple of, you know, get-togethers where people were sharing oils, and somehow that smells like petroleum oil to me. I do not like that one. That's the sense I get. It's like I was trying to see. I said it's citrusy, but when I smell it, I don't know. I smell like petroleum. It's just weird to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Oh, funny. So you know what you do? You get the little case. I'm going to steal Ben's case here and show you. So you get these cases, and then you ask your friend, can you sell me like 5 drops of that oil, so you can have a set of every oil, like a little sample of every oil. Okay, so then you know what it smells like, and you know how to work with it. Because sometimes those oils you need for a particular healing. So go ahead and ask your friends. If you're new to doTERRA, guys, get one of these cases, okay? I actually get two. I have one for blends and one for singles. And then,
Oh, wow.
you've got it ready, and you can take it wherever you want to go, because I visit people and I think maybe not. I may need it, may not need it, but I'll leave it in my purse because it's small enough. But if you bring a big bag, it kind of scares people when you're just hanging out. Not necessarily doing the business. So I think if you tuck it in your purse, it's easy enough. So that's a good thing. So I'll tell you why it helps you open up airways later, but you look at the physical things it does, and then later on when we look at the emotion and the spiritual things it does, it'll make a lot of sense. Okay, abdominal and muscular cramps. So I know that these oils are great for spasms. Petitgrain, bergamot, Roman chamomile, and frankincense. Dr. David Hill, he gave that blend, bergamot, Roman chamomile, and frankincense, and I think it can't hurt to add Petitgrain to that. So mix that up with the fractionated coconut oil and roll it on your lower abs or your muscles on your legs or your arms. It's mostly muscles for people on their legs, but for those people who experience sort of maybe surgery inside. One of my friends, she had issues with her ovaries, and they did a little bit of surgery, and Dr. Hill said that the biggest problem is the spasms when it starts to heal. That's more painful than it healing itself. The cut and everything, it's more painful when it starts to spasm. And so he says just use this blend, often near that area, and it should help. And yeah, it was a miracle for my friend. She had one surgery on one side without oils, and then she got introduced to oils, and then she had surgery on the other side. And she said it was like, day and night. She was like bent over the first time, couldn't walk, and then the second time she's like, oh, hardly anything. So that was beautiful. Just remember that you can do that with the oils. All right. Now, for calming nerves, there's actually research on this, how it affects your nerves. So combine Petitgrain with lavender and bergamot in a diffuser, and smell that just to calm yourself down. Or you can actually just put a drop of each oil on your pillow and smell that at nighttime as you sleep. Okay, so you constantly got that smell and that energy, so your mind can just relax and let go. I'm going to put a plug in for people who are trying to lose weight, because I know people are doing the Slim and Sassy challenge, and we've all overeaten during the Christmas and the New Year's. So people are looking to losing weight. I can tell you, if you can allow yourself to sleep and relax, stop overthinking, okay, your weight problem will start to go away. I mean, your body will relax and let go of the excess fat and toxins and things. So you can lose weight in your sleep. And I've experienced that with my friends. One lady, she was especially stressed about her weight because she was trying to hit that 50-pound mark, and she did 49.5, and she was absolutely ridiculous because it's only half a pound and she couldn't lose it. And when I came along and I said, okay, let's just figure out some things you're holding on to. So we did a bit of energy healing, and the next day she texted me and she said, Jade, I lost 3 pounds in my sleep. And I thought, wow, I didn't realize that would be the results, but I was just hoping that it'll come off soon, but not like overnight. But it did. For her, it was 3 pounds that night. And she cried and she let things go while we were talking. And that was one experience. Another experience was he was a dentist, and he was very strict in everything he does. He was eating right, he was exercising, and he was very very strict. And I said to him, what's the problem then? He's like, well, Jade, help me, because I think something's happening. I'm just keep gaining weight. I'm just getting fatter, and I'm trying to do everything right. And what it came to was, I asked him, hey, do you sleep well? And he said, bingo, that's what he doesn't do. So it's very important. When you sleep, your brain organizes and it starts flushing and cleaning out So if your nerves are just tight and wound up, use these oils to help you calm down. Okay. Okay, so that's petitgrain, lavender, and bergamot. All right. Okay, the next thing here is deodorant, cologne, or perfume. You can, because petitgrain is a pleasant smell, besides smelling like petroleum, like Peaches said, you know, if it's pleasant to you guys, you can put this in a deodorant and use it as a perfume. Okay, because of its cleansing power, it helps cleanse the body odor as well. So it's great for deodorant, cologne, and perfume. And people in the perfume industry have used petitgrain in their perfume too. Hey. All right. Any questions or comments? Okay, squeeze in there. Okay, so the next thing is scalp care. So 2 drops of petitgrain. Thanks, Ben. 2 drops of petitgrain in your shampoo and lather on your scalp and soak it for a while, and then you can rinse it off. Just make sure that if you're, you know, if you've got some scalp skin issues, that you're not using shampoos that have SLS, SLES on it, because it's actually a degreaser. It separates the skin layers and it causes dandruff, hair loss, and eye damage and other problems. So we're so blessed that doTERRA has wonderful shampoo that we can use without having to deal with those chemicals. But sometimes if people complain to me about that skin problem on their scalp, most likely it's the shampoos that's causing it and the stress. All right. Okay. The next thing here is the blood pressure. It calms blood pressure. If you just inhale it alone for a few minutes, it helps calm you down. You can rub it on your forehead, on the bottom of your feet, and it'll help you balance. Okay. But if you think about the emotion later on, it'll make more sense why it helps you too. But, you know, that level of ester, it really helps calm the nerves, calm your mind. All right. Easy peasy. Did you know that, Peaches? With the blood pressure? Yeah, it's pretty good. Now, I know a few people that it worked fantastically for, and a few people that it hasn't. And I can tell you the difference. The reason why it doesn't is because people need to want to heal. The one gentleman has blood pressure concerns, and he wanted his wife to get him stuff, but he didn't really want to heal. He needed that attention. So I just said to the wife, I'm like, when he's ready, it'll work. So just let it go. If you feel like, you know, you need to be sick, just let that go and allow yourself to be healthy and then get attention in a different way. Okay, so it helps with sleep. So 2 or 3 drops on your pillows will be great. And the other thing too is it helps, it's radio protective. We have a lot of technology in our environment, and you know, lemon oil and petitgrain oil and a few other citrus oils are fantastic for helping stop that disruption of electricals in our system. Okay, and help our cells communicate again. So that's important. If you sleep near electrical plugs, if you're in front of a screen all the time, you know, that's electrical pulses that are, you know, shooting at you all the time. And, you know, our brain, our cells communicate by sending electrical pulses and chemicals to each other. So you can see how it can disrupt. And now, of course, we have children that have screen time, a lot of screen time.
Not our children.
No, we have the same problems everyone does, okay? Yeah. And this helps. I can diffuse it, rub it on their feet, just to help the cells kind of, you know, reboot and restart and start communicating properly again. Okay. All right. Any questions or comments?
That's pretty interesting, the radio protective.
Uh-huh. You know what? I lost a whole bunch of notes here. It's supposed to say mind here.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. I lost it. I don't know what happened just now.
We'll fix it.
Yeah. Alrighty. So can I get the emotion book, please?
Yep.
I just realized that a whole chunk has come off. I don't know how. Alrighty.
But if you're looking at this in the future, think fourth dimensionally. It's all going to be there.
So
if
we
you're
might have to bring it
viewing
back.
this, yeah, you're going to
That's
bring
all
it
right.
back.
That's okay. All right, so we pause
Visual
here.
powers.
Does anyone have anything to add to our body part of it?
I just want to say that I think I'll be willing to try this. I like the thing with the radio protective. Yeah, I'd be willing to try, but my first experience and second experience, it smelled the same. I wasn't too thrilled with how it smelled out of the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I could get used to that afterwards. I mean, I'm open. I mean, I know oils are good, so I don't want to make it sound like I'll never buy it. It's just that was like my experience. I was like, oh, this smells like, kind of gasoline or something.
Gasoline? What? Why would I dare do this? Yeah.
I'm with you, Peaches, but I just put it on.
Yeah. I'm like, what is this? This is weird. And I was like, is this a fruit? But yeah.
Lemonade.
Some of the oils are like that, but it's good for you though. So I'm not going to complain. I could put that on the bottom of my feet. I don't think I would have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a fantastic oil to get to know. All right, so we lost a little section here. Actually, it's a chunk like that. That's okay. I'll tell you the emotions. Let's go to the mind. The emotion of Petitgrain, it's the oil of ancestry. Okay, and the negative emotion that it's helping shift out is, it's on there.
I see the problem.
Okay, helping shift out is disowning ancestry, repeating negative family patterns, duty-bound, loyalty to unhealthy traditions, and dishonoring progenitors. Oh, hey, Ben found it again.
Because I'm awesome.
Magic.
She missed one character.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so disowning ancestry, repeating negative family patterns. Okay, duty-bound. Those are negative, okay? Loyalty to unhealthy traditions and dishonoring progenitors. Okay, so the positive energy that we want from this is the pioneering, chain breaking, cultivating healthy traditions, embracing positive family connections. So here's a blend here's a thing to do. Use 2 or 3 drops of Petitgrain on your tummy and on your heart reflex to help you calm anger and shock. But this is going to be related to your family and your ancestors. Okay, so when things are difficult to shift out and move out, use Petitgrain to break the chains or patterns of family habits. Okay, we can change those inherited tendencies from the past too. And we may feel so helpless when the same patterns just keep repeating over and over. And we feel like we've tried. We really tried to get things changed up. And, we're back at square one, it feels. This is when Petitgrain interrupts the electrical patterns in your body and in your mind and rewires your brains. Okay, so those people that say, look, I've tried and I just did the same things over again. I ended up, self-sabotaging again, and they're quite angry at themselves. It's probably because the family patterns are just still inside of you that you haven't really let go. And Petitgrain is powerful. It's one of those strong oils that can get in there and give you a hand and say, let's just cut that wire, break that chain, and let's redo this. Okay. And that's very powerful for me to see that in people. Okay. And when we don't like it, it's because you're not aware of what you're really doing. Okay, you're not aware that you're breaking trends and traditions in your family, because sometimes people feel like they need to. I think I'll talk to you about this story in a minute, but the next thing is reconnecting to the family. So if you have certain family things that you don't like, family members, you have a hard time with your parents or your grandparents, and there's some rift in your family, okay, Petitgrain encourages us to focus on the good, because there's some good. Sometimes people say, well, I came from a messed up family, you don't ever want to know. But I'm all, well, there's some things good about it too. No, there's nothing good, Jade. I'm like, well, there should be. You can look here for it. And Petitgrain encourages us to make peace and create a lighter path for the people that follow. My dad used to say he's really grateful that I grew up in Australia, because I'm not as bitter about what happened to their country. He's like, him and his brothers and his sisters and his family are kind of bitter that their country had been overrun by communism and all that. And he said, it's good that you guys don't have to carry that. But I think he let that go himself. And he helped us not carry it too. So if you carry some sort of bitterness, some sort of pain from the past, from ancestors, it's time to let it go. So Petitgrain encourages us to let go of those negative feelings and not pass it on. I like Dave Sterling. He teaches some wisdom whenever we talk. And one time he said, if something's negative that's happened, you can metabolize it and not pass it on. Just end it here. It might be upsetting, but just metabolize it, get the most out of it, and stop it from moving forward. So don't spread the poison. And that's amazing. I love that teaching. And, in reality, we can look at our challenges and find some good in all of it, in any of it, because we can have something we call post-traumatic growth, okay? It can teach you a lot of things. So no matter what it is, it can teach you some good stuff. So we feel complete. We feel complete if we have that connection to the past, okay, and accept the humanity of our ancestors. So if, our ancestors or relatives messed up, if they haven't been there for us, if they haven't done things that we think they should have done, when we accept their humanity, we will be more at peace, okay? And that's what Petitgrain encourages us to do, okay? It's so funny because I wrote this all day long, right? And then I went to visit this one lady, and we talked about the same thing, and I just wanted to cry for her the whole time. Because it's just accepting. So if our ancestors knew better, they would have been better, right? And so, but they didn't, so it's okay. And their mistakes are understandable because they're humans. And we are not victims of the past. We don't have to ever be victims of what happened to them. So we can intentionally choose how we want to live. And this is very liberating. And I love helping people with this, because sometimes people don't realize that they allow what happened to them and their ancestors to affect them. So I'll tell you my experience in New Zealand. I met some people that were quite poor, and I said to them, well, you're so lucky. Then you get to go to school and go to university, and then get a university degree so you can have more opportunities. And one lady looked at me in disgust, and she's like, you want us to be like the white people? And I thought, whoa, I didn't expect that. I was thinking, this is fantastic. But it's like her holding on to that their people have been wronged, their people have been hurt, and this is how we need to hold on to it. This is how it needs to be. And that blame and that feeling of discouragement that they have a tendency for. I mean, had I had known about Petitgrain, I would have like splashed them with this oil, because it's like time to let go. Move forward. Don't let your kids suffer, like you have. And they have been like free from all that oppression for what, 5 generations, 6 generations or more, but they're still holding on to them. See how it's bound them and dragged them down. So that was really interesting. And when I read this, I thought of them, and I thought, oh yeah, there's so many people that still hold on to that pain, and it's not necessary. So use Petitgrain for several weeks to rewire your thinking patterns, and then think thoughts like, I have power to choose how I respond to the world. Just because this happened to my family, or this, my family was like this, I can choose this. Okay. One lady I met, she said her mom and her dad and her relatives were all obese and big. And she said, I just decided I won't be obese and I won't be unhealthy. And she was super beautiful, super healthy, and she became a chiropractor. And I'm like, oh, that's the kind of, way we should be, just own that power and choose. And another thing we can say to ourselves is, I am grateful for the lessons of the past. All right. I'm grateful for those people that have, fought their way, have figured out things. They messed up, and I'm grateful because I'm not going to mess up like that. And I choose to forge new, happy, positive patterns in my life. And my dad, he reminds me of this one time. He said that when he was little, his dad used to spank him for every little thing. And he said, when I grow up and I have my own kids, I'll never do that. And he did. It was just like that. He never hit us, and he was so kind to us. And, when you choose, you can break those chains. And that's what Petitgrain does. It helps you break chains, and then you can forge new traditions, new everything. And then you perpetuate that. All right, I'm pausing here. Anyone want to add to this or make comments?
Does this sound like an oil that everybody needs? Maybe it's just me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like interesting. Sometimes people, tell me about their parents and their family, and they're just so bitter and angry about it. So it's a good oil to just say, hey, let's, let that go for now. Yeah, you want to say something?
Looks like some people had any comments. They were going to say something. I knew it.
I know. Peaches is smiling there.
Okay. Just let me say that the generational thing is serious. That's like serious business. And it's an eye-opener for me, because there is, I think with everyone's family, you do see certain patterns and things you don't want to repeat. And sometimes you get that generation, or the older generation, that you don't want certain things repeating, but the parents are so scared, they're so overprotective sometimes, that it just seems to make the kids go in the opposite direction, or they kind of cling. Because I've kind of felt grown up like I was always like kind of protected and sheltered, even though things still happened, And you don't understand until you kind of get older. But I'm at that point where my parents, they're next and going. My grandmother passed on and stuff. And you see, as you get older, you're losing people. And family means a lot now. Family and the generations that come after you, with my son and daughter and stuff, it means a lot. And it's, this right here is very interesting. I think I need to douse some of that on some people too.
Douse up. Watch out for that peaches, she'll pass you.
The Petitgrain, yeah. Including myself. But yeah, I think this is interesting. I the smell, wasn't too fond of it, but I'm open to using oils. You know, I'm open to using things that's very needful and helpful. So that's all I really want to say about that. I think that's going to be on my next list.
Ah, okay, well, you've identified why you didn't like it then. You think, oh, it's too difficult. So that's good. Well done. Yeah. We'll go on to the spiritual side of this. You know, it just helps us to remember that no human's perfect. We know that, but sometimes we forget. And then too often we hold the bar up so high that we allow ourselves to be unnecessarily disappointed over and over again by our ancestors, by our family. We expect more and we think, oh, why did he do that? Why did she do that? And, you know, basically Petitgrain helps us feel more humble. And it reminds us to be okay to be human, you know, okay with our humanity. And, you know, in reality, we always fall short. So why are we surprised when we fall short again? It's okay. We just keep on going. I think the best thing is just to keep on trying and moving and changing. And that's the best that we can do, instead of being disappointed that we're not always, you know, already there, already perfect. So it helps us have more thoughtfulness. So it clears out the way in our mind. So it helps you be still. Basically, this is the oil that says, hey, pause. Be still, be aware. What is happening? Can you see patterns? Can you see things that are perpetuating in your life? Stop now and intentionally break those chains and then decide exactly what you really want to believe, what you really want to think, and how you know, that those patterns have not served you anymore. So, you know, I really enjoy helping people heal on an energetic level, because it helps me reflect back and I think, oh, do I have that too? Because sometimes if they're not seeing it, I might not be seeing it. And it's really helpful to do that. So changing traditions, there's some things that we can really change. And one way to gauge is ask yourself, is this aligned to God? Is this tradition that we're cultivating, that we're continuing aligned to God? And if it's not, then be brave and change it, even if it threatens you know, people's anger and disapproval. Just as long as you feel like this is inspired and the light inside of you says, you know, this is good, this is interesting, I like to change this, and just do it. Okay. And if you honor that light within and you change, then you never go wrong. I think a long time ago in college, my husband was in a debate with some classmates, and they were saying, well, in heaven, perhaps, you know, do you think that they would have, you know, these different groups and in different languages, whatever it is, cultures, and you know, is it really important to preserve every part of it? And people were like, yeah, of course, that's your identity, that's, you know. And Ben said, well, you know, if we're all one, you know, we'll have God's culture, and, you know, whatever is God's culture, it should be the culture, and then everything else should be eliminated. And it caused a huge uproar, and because people are like, no, we have to preserve this. But, you know, I'm the same way. You know, we adopt everything that's good. So we take on Japanese holidays and Australian holidays, anything fun, anything party that is good for our family. And then we throw out things that are silly and crazy. And it really doesn't help us be united and be more loving and be more positive. If it doesn't do any of those things, then we can toss it out.
Even if our ancestors,
even if your ancestors have done it for a long time,
that's how they did it.
It holds you back, basically. So, yeah, Petitgrain helps you just find more peace and clarity and wisdom in making those decisions. Okay, so that's the spiritual side of Petitgrain. Anyone want to add or, you know, make comments? No, I really like this quote. I saw it the other day and it just kind of connected with Petitgrain. If you want something you've never had, then you've got to do something you've never done. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So that's basically it for Petitgrain. Great for blood pressure, great for skin, calming your nerves, and helping you have that courage and the power to change patterns. Okay, helps with mental clarity. Yeah. Any thoughts? I've got that top 10 list there. Yeah.
Anything anybody else wants to add, or?
Yeah, learning something new today.
I have a question. So I remember when Petitgrain and spikenard came out at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and one of those is similar to lavender. Is it Petitgrain?
Yep. Yep.
Because lavender, and this is, and you may have mentioned it before I came in because I was gone for the first little bit, but I remember there's a lot of guys who don't like to smell like flowers. And lavender is, you know, a very floral smell, and you know, lavender is great to use to, you know, get some rest and stuff. But Petitgrain is a good alternative to lavender for, you know, men who don't want to smell like flowers all the time, or maybe they don't like you know, lavender, the smell of lavender. So Petitgrain's a good alternative. Did you cover that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, because Ben remembers that.
Because I thought, you know, he said men.
Yeah.
Talk about a lot of essential oils great for ladies, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing I remember about Petitgrain the most is.
So let me ask you guys, what do you think? Why people don't like Petitgrain? If you don't like it, what do you think people don't like it?
First off, the smell.
Yep.
Comes off a bit weird.
Maybe that change. Yeah, that negative emotion that you have, it's kind of, you're repelling against it because it's something, you're feeling that emotion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So sometimes your family trait is do well, excel, be perfect, be excellent, be on top, be straight A student. And if you're not that, it's a little bit painful to be different. You know, what is this healthy tradition, healthy embracing family? And maybe you don't feel like you can be a pioneer. You know, maybe you don't feel like, who am I to change things up and to be different to my family? Or if you want to be different, but you're afraid of the repercussions of it. Or you don't like being the black sheep.
Yeah, in the beginning, when you were comparing it like the lavender, and it's calming and relaxing, I didn't think it was going to go, you know, to the generations, because in the beginning talked about oil of ancestry, but I just didn't think about it that way. And with the tradition, and because I have a family member, she does a lot of self-sabotaging, and I've been trying to talk to her recently, and I've actually mentioned you to her and your energy healing, and she was like really like jumping at it, was really interested, and I'm like, I was like, the healing is out there. I was like, you know, she didn't have to. It's, you know, it's a lot of past stuff that happened. She's really holding on to it, and you know, she goes to therapy and stuff, and I've been guiding her with the oils and helping her out, and so she's only just started. So I really try to remind her, like, this is a journey, you know, and the healing, the solution is there, you know, and you have someone that's going to work with you, have phone in it, and you know, you don't have to repeat or just live in the past things that have happened. And
yeah, that's good. So now you know you got a friend that you can help. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually my cousin. She's my cousin.
Oh,
so.
okay. Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been, but yeah, we just had a whole conversation tonight. I'm going to call her right after this call and tell her about Petitgrain. Like, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I was going to screen the emotions book because I know that'll really hit home to her. And so she's kind of browsing what oil. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Very good.
Yeah.
Dr. Susan Lawton had a lady that wanted to help with her diabetes, and Dr. Susan Lawton decided to ask her some more questions, and come to find out this lady was happy to have diabetes because now she's finally in with the gang, in with her grandma, in with her aunties, in with her mom, you know, and she really didn't want to heal. And so Dr. Lawton said, hey, you know what, come back when you need to change. And she's like, oh, I have this problem, fix me, but she really didn't want to be fixed. So it's funny. Because you want to hold on to that because it helps you be part of something. Yeah. Anybody else want to share insights? Well, I'm glad you guys came tonight and hope you guys learned something new. I did, just researching it. I was excited to see the physical things that they've researched that it can do. But then when I read the emotions, I thought, oh, how well it aligns with what it does physically. So, and how did they know? How did they know before they even had all that research? It's fantastic. Yeah. And it's been used for a long, long time. So, yeah. All right. Well, if no one else has anything to say, we'll end the call. Thank you so much.
Just so everybody knows, this is actually the last single oil that will be, because we've done all of them. They all been done. And we're going to start next week on the blends, okay? Starting with Aroma Touch.
Yeah. I'll go through some of the popular ones too, but I really like doing this because it helps me really focus on and gather all the experiences and the knowledge that I have, and then dig up some more research on each oil. So it helps me too. Yeah.
And this is really great that we are able to meet together and share everybody's experience. So Aroma Touch is going to be a great oil. So we'll go through some of the popular blends as well. There's some great things there.
Alrighty, guys, we'll end the call and we'll hang around for a few minutes. Did you want to say anything before we end?
In the Living magazine, there was an article about Aroma Touch, the science of Aroma Touch. So I had it opened up and I want to dig in there and read about it. So.
Oh, wow. I have to look at it then. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Well, we'll stop the recording here. Thank you so much, everyone.